for some of these guys, JuJu being one of them, it definitely makes sense to do something like that, though.
Well, dude, and the market was so weird for receivers this year, where JuJu was the 4th highest paid on, I think, a year-by-year basis.
Mm-hmm.
Let me pull this up. This was just crazy, though. The 3rd, 4th, and 5th, or no, I'm sorry, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th highest paid receivers this year.
Yeah.
So first was Kenny Golladay. He's solid, but I think that contract was absurd.
I mean, dude, the thing that was surprising about that deal was you think about JuJu's market, you think about Emmanuel Sanders' market, you think about John Brown's market, you think about all these receivers in their markets. And we're all saying, what, man, the receiver market is down. Take your 1-year deal wherever you can go right now and then try to hit it again next year. Then Kenny Golladay signs this deal, and we're just like, 4 years, 72 mil, 40 up. Like,
bona fide receiver one money.
Like, seriously. And we're all just like, out of all the receivers that got paid, and Kenny's a good receiver.
Good, really solid.
But we never felt that he was 4 for 72, 40 million guaranteed. We thought this
12, 13.
We thought this could have been one of the things that, all right, a team might potentially overpay for JuJu in this vein. But that never materialized. But to see Kenny get that, I'm just like, wow. I was definitely surprised by that.
2nd, 3rd, and 4th, though, is completely shocking. Corey Davis.
Yes.
$12.5 million per year. Curtis Samuel, $11.5. He's pretty solid. Yeah. Nelson Aguilar at $11 million. Yeah. That is just wild. And then you have in the mid tiers, JuJu, 8, Marvin Jones, 6.25, AJ Green at 6, Sanders at 6, and then like you said, John Brown at 3.75 can get up to 5. That's crazy, dude. That's where the value was, in my opinion, with the receiver market.
Well, the Corey Davis deal was the deal, another one that we thought could see JuJu getting, especially with the Jets. We're like, bro, this is the team that, and when they brought JuJu, JuJu was talking to them. I don't know if he actually took a trip down there, but he was having conversations with them. We thought that this could be that type of deal right there. But if they want to go with Corey Davis, I mean, listen, we're glad that JuJu is back. However, it had to work out. And we said, man, if you could get him back at an affordable rate, yes, he makes your team better. You want to keep him. We said that at times when the other receivers on the team were struggling, he was the consistent factor. We know the toughness that he brings. He does all the dirty work. He does all of those things. But we wanted to make sure that if you were going to get him back, that it was at an affordable rate because you already had Deontay and Claypool, and we talked about James Washington. But seeing what the other receivers had signed for, yeah, you can make a case of, all right, would you have rather had Emmanuel Sanders or John Brown for this similar price, right? The 1 year, $8 million, or even a guy like Antonio Brown. But all three of those guys were going to lose an element that JuJu has, and that's the grunt work, the physicality, the hustle plays, the rapport with Ben. Obviously, AB has that to an extent, but you would lose that element. Now, obviously, you would get a little bit more in terms of your route running, your downfield threats with the other two guys, but you could just see where for the money in the deals, dude, I think it makes sense for both parties here, JuJu and the Steelers.
No, absolutely, because one of the concerns with a JuJu deal up in the double digits was like, we have these other 2 receivers, or 3 receivers if you want to throw in James Washington too, that are going to need to get paid in the future. Yes. If we're paying JuJu double digits, that really kills our flexibility going forward. So we keep JuJu back. We don't have to worry about a receiver in this draft at all or for the upcoming season. We're pretty set at the position. Like you said, the familiarity with Ben. Ben really wanted him back. It seems like JuJu really wanted to be back too.
Yeah, so definitely kept saying it, man.
It really makes sense on all sides because now we're going to have so much cap space in the upcoming season. And we'll see what happens from there if we could re-sign JuJu to another, I guess, a longer-term deal, I guess. It seems like he really does want to be back in Pittsburgh. That's what his mom's saying and stuff. Yeah. But then we'll at least know a little bit more because, one, we'll have more just tape and just seeing what this receiver group does together. And maybe then you could start picking and choosing, like, which one, if we had to, would we be able to let go? Maybe it is JuJu after next year, but at least we have another year of JuJu with the Steelers.
Now, the other conversation has been going around surrounding this deal are the winners and losers, right? Did JuJu lose free agency by coming back on this 1 year, $8 million deal? What were your thoughts on that, man?
I don't think, because unless he was getting these Corey Davis, Samuel, and Aguilar offers, what else are you going to do?
Yeah.
You want to, so I understand you want to go to the Chiefs or you go to the Ravens, but I think he wanted to stay here. He wanted to stay with Pittsburgh. He wanted to stay with Big Ben. Yeah. That's just his choice. I think the money was similar enough. I know those incentives, it was $3 million.
I think it was 3 in Baltimore, 4 in Kansas City.
I don't know how for sure he was going to hit those incentives or not. But, that is $3 or $4 million difference. That's not bad. But if you really want to stay in Pittsburgh, dude, I think $8 million was higher than I thought he was going to get at that point. I thought he was going to get like 5 or 6.
Well, I think we all did until we realized this loophole of the voidable years element. I mean, outside of that, there wasn't a way. Right now, the Steelers have $2.2 million in cap space. And it would not surprise if they go sign somebody on a 1-year, $12 million, 4 avoidable year deal. And we're just like, oh, it only counts 1.3 on the cap. Make it make sense. Like, that's the biggest reason why none of us really thought that JuJu could come back on a deal of this much money. This is good money for JuJu, though. If you think about the $8 million range, that's the market. We said, man, you 8 to 12. We said 12
that was fair.
Like,
yeah, overpay would be double digits. Yeah.
Right, but we said 6, 7, 8 is realistic for him. So understanding they were able to structure it the way that they did, I don't think it's a loss for JuJu. And in terms of the narrative of JuJu took less to come back, you can make the case for that, but I don't view it as less solely because incentive-based money is not your money. It's a difference when your contract is $8 million, your contract is $8 million, your contract is $7.5 million. Because Baltimore's $8 million, obviously Kansas City was 7.5. So we're all in the same range. It was a $500,000 difference, but obviously they have more incentives. The reason why I don't count incentives is this. That incentive can read, JuJu, if you have 100 catches, then, you'll get an extra $1 million. If you have 15 touchdowns, you'll have an extra $1 million. JuJu, if you lead the league in receiving yards, you'll get an extra $1 million. So it's like,
Chiefs win the Super Bowl.
You know what I mean?
Chiefs make it to AFC Championship.
So think about it. Is JuJu going to get 100 catches in Kansas City's offense with Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce? No. Is he going to get 100 catches in Baltimore? No. Is he going to have 15 touchdowns in Kansas City? Probably not. Think about AB led the league in touchdowns with 15 one year. And it was a lot. That's a ton of touchdowns. Yeah. It's not happening. Baltimore, he's not going to get 15 touchdowns more than likely. So that's $2 million that you wouldn't have right there. Then, all right, team success, right? AFC Championship game or Super Bowl appearance. We know how crazy that gets at times. So that's why for me, seeing the incentive-based money, that's more so for the media. That's more so for people to look at it and be like, well, man, they offered more. They didn't offer more. That incentive thing is fluky. And that's
what I thought too.
And those are at least attainable incentives that I threw out there, right? And as crazy as they sound, that's the attainables. I've seen some incentives where it's like even more records. You're like, bro, I've never had 13 sacks in my year. What you mean? I'm an incentive for 15 sacks? Like what? Like, come on, bro. But that's the type of stuff you'll see. So that's why I don't count incentive money as.
It's a great storyline. Right. Took less to come back to Pittsburgh. Right. It's great.
I mean, it sounds good, right? Oh, you turned down Mahomes? Man, they were going to offer you 14 to go play with Mahomes. You came back to Ben for 8? Yeah. No. And this isn't a shot at anybody, but it's like, that's the truth of incentive-based money. No different when Le'Veon turned down rolling guarantees. Hey, as long as you healthy, you're playing well, we'll keep you on. You get to March next year, your contract's guaranteed, rolling guarantee. It's a little bit different than fully guaranteed, right?
For sure.
So same concept right here, man. Incentive-based money, don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe, man. Don't fall for it. So for me, understanding that element of it, I thought it made perfect sense for JuJu. Sure. I love this deal for JuJu. I think it makes sense for the Steelers as well. You get a guy that you know is going to be productive. You know he's reliable. And he's going to be very motivated because of why? He wants to get paid. He wants the long-term deal. 1-year deal is cool. It's cool. But you don't have job security on a 1-year deal. That 1-year deal, okay, I can't have a bad year. I can't get hurt. Period. You got to make sure that you're doing your thing. I mean, Bud was a prime example of it. It worked out for him. But he could have probably hit even more if he would have played the full year, right? Without getting the injury. So you always just think about those things on 1-year deals. The stakes are a lot higher. You're betting on yourself, essentially. But for JuJu, this makes sense because you don't sign a multi-year deal if it's not going to pay you that type of crazy money that he could get.
And potentially happiness at play, too. If the Jets were in the
happiness, man.
Well, if the Jets were in the mix or maybe some bottom feeder team like the Jaguars. He saw what happened with Bell. Mm-hmm. You got to weight that stuff. What do you want a little bit more? I think Bell chose the money a little bit more than staying back in Pittsburgh. Right. But if JuJu really loves it here, then you come back.
But I was going to say, just with that narrative, though, always be a little careful because, remember, L. Bell didn't go to New York on a 1-8 year. He went there for life-changing, generational money. When the money is like that, the logo on the team, it becomes less of a factor because $80 million, $80 million. It doesn't matter if I'm in Des Moines, Iowa, or if I'm in Miami, Florida. You know what I mean? But when it's like this, I do agree with you. When it's 1 for 8s, when it's 1-year deals, prove it deals, or betting on yourself type of stuff, 100% situation matters a lot more than that extra 1 or 2 million that he could have got going somewhere else.
Yeah, if it was the Jaguars or Jets, we just don't know what those
Very
deals
true.
are that potentially came out.
Very true.
We have no clue. But another thing that I really liked about it, well, one, the Steelers offense versus like Chiefs or Ravens, you got to think just coming back. I think he would have fit with the Chiefs and the Ravens fine, but dude, he had last year 97 receptions, and we kind of considered it as a potential off year. We thought it could have been better. So you come back, you know your role with the Steelers, but also the Chiefs or Ravens don't get JuJu and improve their teams. They're AFC contenders, and that's what I'm saying. I think he would have fit fine with the Chiefs and the Ravens. He would have been good for like little slant routes, little drag routes with Lamar whenever they're doing read options. And then with the Chiefs, you got the possession guy where Tyreek Hill's taking the top off the defense and Travis Kelce's this bona fide tight end. I think he would have fit in pretty good. But to get him back in Pittsburgh, that takes away from the other two teams as well.
Very true. Takes away from them. And I think we all agree his best fit is in Pittsburgh. Even though you, like you say, you get a little bit, or depending on how people want to put it out there, Mahomes, obviously you're going to get more from a passing standpoint. With Lamar, I think he gets open more because of the deception of their offense, right? You think about when you see Holloway catching passes, it's not a lot of combat catches. Whenever you see Lamar throwing it downfield, it's a lot of just wide open guys running. Very similar to college almost, but that's because of the fakes they're able to do up front. So I think JuJu would have got more chunk plays there, but I don't think he would have had the consistent play in and play out success that he has in Pittsburgh. I think in Kansas City, he would have just, benefited from playing with a guy like Patrick Mahomes. But I think target wise, he would have been limited because of, like you said, when you got Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, who are arguably the best player at their position league wide, those guys they're going to get their touches, and they already have their rapport with Mahomes. So for JuJu, even though he's not number one on paper in terms of wide receiver one here in Pittsburgh,
some people say it. Everyone's got a different wide receiver one right now.
Right? It's crazy. But for me, I look at it like this: I don't care who's wide receiver one on paper. We know who's wide receiver one to been, and that's JuJu. Anytime it's got to have it. Anytime it's clutch. Anytime it's late in the game. Anytime it's possession downs. We all know who he's looking at. Think about it. I mean, it's been times where he might have had touchdown passes to other receivers, but he goes to his guy. Right, wrong, or indifferent. I mean, we saw him do it with AB as well. I mean, this is what you do. When you get that type of rapport, you go to those guys. And that's what JuJu is. So to me, I'm like, man, this is perfect sense for JuJu, man. Stay here, ball out 1 year. And then after that, man, you can either re-sign when the cap goes up, when they got a lot more flexibility, or you can go hit the market and see if it's a little bit better for you next year. But either way, this makes the most sense for him right now.